Okay, so what we're going to show you is we're going to show you how we create a part from scratch. There's a lot of guys out there building stuff, in my opinion, have no clue what they're doing. And when you buy their parts, you'll see nothing fits. So we'll show you how we actually build a part from scratch. We get a lot of emails and a couple phone calls on it too on how you do this. So what we have here, we have our fender, our rear fiberglass game ender fender. We have that mounted on here. We have our saddlebag extensions mounted on a cross-country bag. And what we want to do, we want to make a filler panel for right here. So you guys will see here how we actually do it, and then you'll see them on the website for sale. So if you guys want to try something on your own to build fiberglass parts, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. So a lot of those guys that are selling parts that don't know how to do it, you can get a tip too. So since we want to just fill this piece in, what I did, I just took a piece of cardboard and I kind of laid it up there and I just traced it out with a marker. You don't really need any fancy tools. Cardboard works perfect, a magic marker and a pair of scissors. So I just laid this out here and I got it so it fit pretty good on the side, pretty good there. And you can do it however you want. You can make the shape whatever you want. So I take some masking tape. Now I made this to tuck up underneath the weather strip because in the long run, if that's tucked up under there, it's less body work you have to do or have to pay someone to do if you can't do it yourself. So I just kind of get this where I want it, tape it on. Okay, now like I said, I've already cut this so it pretty well fits. But you make a pattern. If you don't like how this looks, you can draw a line. It'll give you a visual reference. If you wanted this to say, you didn't want a bag extension here, but you wanted this to be flat back here, you can just draw a line like that and then kind of visualize how it'll look. It'll give you that pointed tail look. If you don't like it, you don't do it. So we're going to keep ours down low. That way, when we're done with this part, for people that don't want to have the exhaust tip, you don't want to have your stock exhaust tip popping out the back. It's solid. If you do want to have the tip, you can just simply cut a hole in that and then the tip will, stick out. So now we have to fill this area in here. Now, you can fill it in with cardboard, you can fill it in with all kind of stuff. But I'm just going to use some masking tape because it's easy. And this will give you a good visual of how you want that. So you can just do that. And you can stand back and you can kind of get a visual look. If you're one of those people that can't visualize it, use as close a color tape as you can. You can spray paint this white so you can see exactly how it would all look. If you're doing this kind of work, though, you probably are one of those people that can visualize how stuff goes together. So that's what we're doing. We're just trying to get the look of what we want. Now that we have the look and we have this panel, we have to create this panel. What we're going to eventually do is we're going to build a mold of this so that then we can make parts from the mold. So if you're doing a one-off, this is all you would do. You would make this piece in fiberglass, and we'll show you how to do that. And you just glue it on. Then you can Bondo up the edge, just regular body work, real simple. But since we're trying to show you how parts are created, that's the one step. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. I'll put it on a piece of fiberglass, and I'll show you in a second how to do that. Okay, so this is just fiberglass sheet. We buy it just simply because it's like sheet metal, but it's fiberglass. It's real easy to work with. It's nice and smooth, simple to do. You don't have to make anything. So we just take our pattern, lay it out on there, trace around the edge. We get our line. So then what we do, we're just going to take an old saber saw or a Dremel, whatever you have, and we're going to cut this out. Okay, so we got this piece all taped on. Now I had to do a little bit of work here because this was kind of angled in a little bit and I needed to be flat. So what I had to do, I had to grind the back side of this off to make it flat. And I made a cardboard piece on that angle. So we want to fill this hole in. Okay, so what I did was I got this cardboard piece and now we can tape it in there just like that, and now that's filled in. So what we're eventually going to do is we're going to bondo all this up. So we just need something more or less on the back. So I make the bottom point and this point here and the bottom point, I make that pretty well perfect, and I just tape it from the back. Because I don't want to tape here because that's where I have to bondo. So we're just going to kind of stick that in just a little bit so the bondo has somewhere to attach to. You don't have to worry about getting all these gaps perfect because the bondo is going to fill that in. And like I say, you just want this to be back just a hair so the bondo has somewhere to go. And just tape this all up. So now you can kind of see what the shape's going to look like. Real easy to do with cardboard. You can just do it, or you don't like it, you just cut it back out and do it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to fill this in with bondo. There's some couple tricks that I'm not going to show you because the other guys don't know how to do this, so I'm not going to show you that stuff. But when we come back, this will be bondoed up and you'll start to see it take shape a little bit better. So you can see now this is all bondoed up. What we did, we actually reinforced it. That's kind of some of the stuff I didn't show you. We actually reinforced it first, and then we bondoed over it, just normal body work to get this nice and smooth. I then went and put what they call a guide coat of just kind of like a black primer, and then you sand that down to see where any highs and low spots are. So this is actually pretty good. So you can see back here, this is just, you know, still black, but you would just sand this down, and what it'll do, you'll start to see high and low spots. And again, this is just normal body work kind of stuff. And you want it to kind of come out even. If you see something that you're not sanding off, you know, if say this was a dark area, that would mean it's low, and you would just have to do more body work. But you can see this is pretty good, and we knew it would be because it's just that flat sheet that we used. That's what's nice about that stuff, is you really don't need to do any body work, and that saves you time. And if you're paying somebody else to do it, it saves you money because they don't have the time in doing it. So that's basically what you do there. We'll get this edge a little bit. Okay, so now everything's done, so we know that's pretty good shape. We don't really have any highs, we don't have any lows, it looks good. So what we'll do now, we'll come back with primer, primer surfacer they call it, and then we'll just spray gray primer on this, let that dry overnight, and then we can come back and sand it, and we should be good to go. Once we do that, we'll pull this part back off the bag, and we'll start to show you how to make the mold. So if you guys were just making this part and you didn't want to make a mold, you basically do it the same way. You just kind of wouldn't use cardboard. You'd make stuff a little bit stronger. You would be bonding this piece onto here. We sell the stuff on the website. It's it comes in a caulking gun, and it's epoxy. You just kind of mix it. The gun actually mixes it, and you squirt it in there. You would hold this down, tape it on, let it sit overnight. It'd be dry. Take the tape off, and you can't get it off. It's the stuff new cars are made of, that hold body panels together. It's super strong. So you would put that on. It's the same stuff we sell in the kit with how to attach the lowers. You would put that on, and we'll show you how to do all that different time. But if you were doing that, it's this easy, and you got a custom bike, you know, custom panel. As time goes on, we'll show you some cool stuff, how to do some different things with tail lights and stuff like that. But right now what we'll do is we'll spray some primer and we'll come back and we'll show you how to sand that. Okay, so now you see we got the gray primer on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to wet sand this out. With the black guide coat we already put on, you should see that you really don't have any body work. So this is just filling in small scratches, and what we're trying to do is make it smooth now. We have to get it really smooth to start making the mold. So if you don't know how to wet sand, we just take some 320 wet and dry sandpaper and water. And if, you know, this is kind of, you have to know what you're doing, but you're just basically sanding it to get it smooth. And what the water does kind of acts like a lubricant, and it also doesn't clog the sandpaper up. You know, your sandpaper doesn't clog up. It's easy. So this is, like I say, this is 320, and we're just sanding it until we get it nice and smooth. And you're just going to continue to do that until you have the whole piece sanded. And then what we'll do once we get that done and everything looks good, we will take this part off of the bike and we'll start to do the mold. Okay, so we got everything wet sanded. So now what we're going to do is we're going to carefully take this piece off. Now what we did previous to all this is instead of gluing these on, what we did is we just put screws up in to hold it. So we're just going to take the screws out. I have one left here. And now this is loose. So now we just have to be careful so you don't break anything because it's still kind of fragile. Take your tape off. Just kind of jiggle it around. Got some tape here yet. Okay, so that's basically the part that we're going to make. Okay, we want this whole piece with the flanges, the edge in here. We need to do all that. Now, if you want to see what the back side looks like, that's all the cardboard and the Bondo and everything we put in there. This doesn't really matter because it's just had to hold stuff. So you can take this stuff off if you want. It makes no difference whatsoever. But what you want to do is you want to be real careful you don't damage any of this. If you want to get the cardboard off, wet it first. If it's wet, it'll just start peeling right off. So you can get it right off without prying because it's stuck in the Bondo. So it'll come, you can see it just comes right off. Okay, and you can dig all this stuff here off if you want. And that shows you the Bondo and everything that we put in the back. So that's how we did everything. Okay, so from this side, this is all that matters, is that this side looks good. So now what we will do, we're going to make sure that when we have this where we can see it, we're going to get it in the light. Anything that's wrong, we're going to fix. Any pinholes, anything that's wrong. Okay, it'll give you a better part. Once that's done, we're going to put a wax on here and then a release agent, and then we're going to start making the mold. So that is how we do this.